here is a video about my serious investigation on Genshin Impact data. Before we start, I call Hoyover's twist to the play on sounds in names and concepts, gathering and gathering, as in gathering information is an example I use in a short video in the past. Also, if I am right about what I said in the video of the Mare Jivari, you bet I will celebrate. Capitano is going to be resurrected. He is not quite dead, his soul is in the Night Kingdom. My speculation is that the ancient name Silonen was forging is for him, so he can be revived. I don't know if it will be in the same body, but he could be revived like the Natlantians did in the war. By the way, last time I presented myself as a main Amber, I didn't say I was physical damage. After completing the Abyss a few times, she has been behaving a little weird. Okay, that was Neuvillette's theme. The lyrics is from the Bible, Job 41:25, referencing the Leviathan and how he was in the Archon quest, High, Judging. Even his skills dialogue reference it. His hydrospheres, in a certain angle, looks like the ones on the domain's mural. Hey, a Hoyo twist. Neuvillette? Neuvillette? Just to be clear, I'm not saying Neuvillette is Nibelung, but I think this was a clue for him being a dragon. I think Capitano used Night Soul Blessing cause he have the souls of Natlantians in his heart. Maybe the Master of the Nightwind in the video is the one with the Night Soul Blessing. Ronova has 6 eyes, important number in alchemy. The alchemy symbol for fire and water for a hexagram, important symbol in alchemy too. I read somewhere it represents the human soul, but in alchemy the symbol for soul is the sulfur. Speaking of souls, the symbol in real life for human soul is the psi letter from the Greek alphabet. It seems in ancient times, Romans thought the human soul took the form of a butterfly and got out of the body in the last breath. The butterfly is a sign of metamorphosis. Maybe this is why, for them, it signifies a change for the human soul. I think Ashikai pointed out how there are many references to butterflies in the game. I think Sucrose is a fox of the Dandelion Sea, or at least one of her parents is. Just a reminder, Albedo saw a residue on his desk with the Traveler. It looks like Abyss dust or something. We have seen how he purified abyssal energy, but not this dust anywhere else. Ishtar myth has a lot of reference and associations. She destroyed a mountain. There is a bad gardener, owls, associated with the deity. Venus, the morning star. Crescent moon represents sin. I believe the description of the Aranara moon was a crescent moon and not literally fangs. Still, Genshin do literal things. Samash Orutu, protector of travelers, is a deity of the sun, and he too used a sun chariot. Here is a fun fact. The Kunduru of King Melishipak I has this. If we see that from left to right, before the sun and the moon, there is a star. Oh. Ansu has a description of a lion with wings. Most of the characters with elf ears are female. Doesn't mean they are elf, be careful there. The game never stated they are. The lore of the night confirmed what the community guessed about the elementalist name card. The thing is, Phlogiston seems to have more colors. Shade is a hue or mixture of pure colors to which only black is added. Maybe the shining shade does add a black color. Speaking of black, the black sun seagull, an esoteric symbol, has 12 rays, 7 elements, 9 if you count Neuma and Osea, if they can be called elements, 10 with Dane's blue color, 11 with the Abyss violet, 12 the gold color of the twins. But there is other colors too. The red that the Adepti give to the Traveler in Liyue Archon Quest. Phlogiston track seems orange too. The annihilation reaction of Neuvillette has another color, and the red from Arlecchino and Abyss doesn't look like the pyro element, flames. We can tell if Celestia Blue is different from Dane's Power or other blue shades. Some slime's colors doesn't match. Look at the Geo slime and the Geo element color, the Electro slimes. People say they represent A and Makoto. I have not seen Makoto or A represented with yellow. Khaenri'ah. The name meaning has been covered a lot. I will add more. The Narcissan Cruz Ordo talked about the Crown Aria cycle. They also have the books of esoteric revelation where they draw a Kabbalah. The circle you see below is a Solomon magic circle. Supposedly, he did this to protect himself from the malice of those evil spirits. This is where I disagree with the observation of other people. This is no tree of life. This is a tree of death. Clipod. This means husk. A primordial egg reference maybe? I read somewhere. Eons leave shells. If that is a tree of life, why put a magic circle to protect from evil spirits in the human sphere? Makes more sense than if this is a tree of death in the Sephiroth of the Queen of the Night. Oh, more Genshin references. But I do understand how the Kabbalah seems more likely, as it have things that match with the ideals of the Archons, like wisdom and love, and even have a abyss. Anyways, in the Tree of Life, the highest sphere is known as the Kether. What does it have to do with Khaenri'ah? Well, Kether means crown. The crown in Genshin is Logos. Logos is reason, knowledge. Another name for knowledge is Gnosis. Crown Aria sounds like Crown Aria, then becomes Gnosis Aria. Maybe this is what the sinners wanted to create. Okay, just for fun. The Opera Khan has an aria. Genghis Khan has a famous phrase. I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God will not have sent a punishment like me upon you. I don't think Oyo word refers to this opera or the phrase, but it's interesting. Just a reminder. Abyss beings has a thematic with the night. For example, nocturnal animals, owls, wolves, and so on. I was searching for alchemy and found a picture, which I thought it was Arlecchino constellation reference instead of the Hand of Glory. Now I think it referenced both. Additionally, I found info of the secret society, the Order of the Occult Hand. This secret society put the phrase, it was as if some occult hand had in their print. This began with a print in the Charlotte News, so this must be a really great reference between Arlecchino and Charlotte to this theme. Seems to me the Harbingers works in pair, one in the light and one in the shadows. Mondstadt was Signora and maybe Capitano in the north. Liyue was Child and Signora. There was someone there too, with the Ring Guarders. Inazuma was Signora and Scaramouche. Sumeru got Dottore and Scaramouche. Fontaine was Arlecchino as the principal Harbinger in the Archon Quest. Child was there, but not in the mission. Seems Dottore was there for a little bit. The secondary Harbinger in Fontaine cut someone's tongue. It could not be Child, and doesn't seem something Dottore have interest in it. People speculate it was Marionette. Natlan was Capitano as the main, but we don't know who was the second one. Seems to be investigating about Phlogiston. I don't think the investigation was made by Capitano, as he didn't even glance at Saurians. Speaking of Natlan, people assume Columbina is coming for the Gnosis next. Seems possible as the rumors from last year says she will be playable. Personally, I believe that the most logic action for the Fatui is to use diplomacy, as Capitano improved Natlan and Fatui relationships Pantalone seems the most logical option, as with all the people of Natlan and tourists traveling the reconstructions of sites, Natlan seems a good opportunity for business. It's the perfect excuse for the Fatui and Hoyovers to present Pantalone. Harbingers can be considered as humans in the traditional way. Scaramouche is a puppet, Marionette is a robot, or something. Arlecchino, well, she have some kind of course, same for Piero and Capitano. Child was in the abyss and got the foul legacy. You can call that transformation a human. Dottore is something strange. Maybe he did experiment with himself to transform into a oceanid-like being. The rooster, well, look at his ears. Pantalone seems the most human of them, but without a vision, the possibility of him being an adepti is in act. Signora, you know her story. Columbina may be a Seelie, which brings me to another point. Say no to Kraken, pointed she knew Signora Tim. If Columbina is a Seelie, then why no one make a fuss about she not having horns like Nabu Malikata? I think I got an explanation for this. Wolfie from the Imaginarium Theater tells us a story where wild boars were punished by making a scales move. They put lots of things for this. If the scales move, they could go. They put even their voices until the scales broke. The story implies this is how Nicole of the Hexenzirkel lost her voice. Therefore, I believe Columbina put her side, hence why she used that strange veil. If she is a Seelie, she may have put the horns too, but what if that is not the case? Well, she may not be a Seelie then, or only the Seelies that were punished are the ones with the horns. In the story Wolfie tell, he say those boars who place their head on the scale become wolves, lizards, and snakes. I don't get why the story says lizard and snakes. If they will refers to dragons, they will use one or the other. It could be literal, and those are descriptions for enemies we fight in the world, or the ones the Archon's foe, or it is about Khaenri'ahs, like the Black Serpent Knights. I can't remember well Enkanomiya, so please correct me if I am wrong, but it seems Enkanomiya has another god, apart from Ishtarot and Orobashi. There are 3 statues, they have a code, one has a clay pot, the other has a lantern. Of course, we got Orobashi statue, but this other doesn't seems like him. This one has like an Irminsul branch, so this statue may be Sages, or is it that Watatsumi? What if Watatsumi is the same god as the god of the sea in that tale of Liyue? This statue is also in the chasm. This kind of structure we see in Natlan and in the chasm. You can tell by the ornaments. I wonder if Teyvat is like a disc, an Enkanomiya song from the other side of the disc. That will explain why this structure seems like an arc inverted. Speaking of arcs, you can see them in Enkanomiya, in the chasm, and in Natlan. Maybe the Unified Civilization used the Dragon Civilization structures, or maybe they coexisted. Parallelism has been a thing in the game. Storm Terror Liar Quest parallel Mondstadt War with the Nameless Bard, Paimon as Venti, Venti as the Nameless Bard, Diluc as the red-haired warrior, Jin as her clan ancestor. This is where something's off. You see, there is no Amos, and the traveler may be another knight, the mysterious knight that in the book is or not mentioned. In Archon Quest, there is always references to moon, numbers important to alchemy. The 3 is the most frequent. In Inazuma Archon Quest, Ayaka makes the traveler meet 3 persons without visions. I wonder if those persons reflect the states of the 3 moon sisters, or even the heavenly principles. Something is weird with Archons. Archons equals my friends are dead. Venti and the Nameless Bard, for example, Sunlia Wison, Ei and Makoto. Actually, they have lost even more people if you think about it. It is because of the misfortune Gnosis bring. We have seen so much sacrifices on the Archon Quest. I wonder if there is actually a foreshadowing. If the twins' power is imaginary, maybe that explains why they can see dream-like things, especially with children. It happened on Fontaine and Sumeru. I wonder if the reason the sibling was recorded in Irminsul and then disappeared has to do something with the old Natlan ley lines. Don't forget, the twins come to Teyvat in a meteorite. Was this the sun chariot? City of Yid, Golden Hyperborea, Arcadia. Marianne mentioned it on the quest. Yid is another Lovecraft reference. In short, the great race of Yid was an alien race that survived by exchanging their minds with other species, even across great expanse of time and space. They gather info, and the individual that exchanged their consciousness could be granted permission to their library in the city of Nakotus. In the story, this place was in the great Australian desert, so we may see something related to all this close to Natlan. Hyperboreas could mean beyond Boreas, the god of the north wind in the ancient Greek. It refers to mythical people who lived on the north of the world. Hyperboreans were believed to inhabit a sunny, temperate, and divinely blessed land. Maybe in Genshin we will see a place like this in the north. Arcadia could be about an utopic garden. As an utopic term, Arcadia is an ideal of a pastoral scenery, an idyllic vision of unspoiled wilderness. In the Byakuyakoku collection, the parable of the 3 Simsas, could be Arcadia the backyard of the gardener or something. I believe books are classified by its veracity of the events in Teyvat, even if they are described as metaphors or fantasy. That makes the Byakuyakoku collection and Periheri less credible. My proof is the tale of Shiruye and Shirin being a 4-star, and Lilufar confirming the events. Speaking of the Byakuyakoku collection, in the first year of darkness, is this a mistranslation? Or did it say the people of the 7 sovereigns as the dragon sovereigns? I can be sure it's the Archons, as this may have been after the War of Vengeance, and the people of the Archons didn't go to the ocean. Is this implying some people were followers of the dragons? If this is the case, maybe the elf-like people are dragons people? The Parable of the Tree got parallelism with A and the Sacred Sakurai story. Seed of stories brought by the wind and cultivated by time. Stories brought on the wind will bloom into legends in due time. Is what the sundials in Mondstadt says. Venti say this phrase, and Paimon finish it. Do not forget it. Also, don't forget Venti said at Windrise that there were people unhappy with his arrival, and next thing we see is an Eye of the Storm attacking. Nahida is known for her references to PC. I just want to add, database scheme. I don't know if this is the term in English, but this term means a visual representation of a database. A set of rules that governs a database or the entire set of objects that belongs to a particular user. Kadevata and Guova reverted makes people think this happened to Paimon. Instead, I wonder if Paimon is experiencing what happened to Nahida and Wanderer. Just imagine if whatever Paimon is or was deleted herself from the world because she was contaminated by Abyss and could damage the world itself. Actually, this will explain why she knows lots of things that she seems to forget. The dog in the Book of Esoteric Revelations says that the world will disappear cause there was someone who should not be there. I wonder if this is a foreshadowing. Kuntur and Koyor have eyes like the stars. I don't know if this is Khaenri'ah-like eyes, or eyes like Mawika and Xbalanque. Kuntur is the son of Koyor, his mother, and Kuku, the father. Kuntur means condor in Quechua. I believe the name Koyor has to do with the Peruvian peregrination tradition. Ukuku is a mythical character, half human, half bear, that search for a sacred ice in a mountain. The Shadow Halberd character, Wei Yang, sounds like he got some power similar to Koyor. Koyor pronunciation in English sounds like color. If this is a Hoyo twist, it might be related to the story of Simulanka. In the legend of the Shattered Halberd, Irmin seems to have created Fischl to destroy him. Irmin feared the catastrophe that will come after his death. This is very similar to what happened to Deities in Genshin World. For example, the Tatarigami left by Orobashi. If I remember correctly, Irmin left copies or echoes of him in lots of words when he pierced the Axis Mundi. I believe all descendants are expressing one of the four qualities the Narcissian Cruz Ordo describe. So in order it will be Primordial 1, create, second who came, destroy, third descender, sustain, traveler, protect. Well, I am implying the Primordial 1 and the second who came are descenders. We don't have actual confirmation. Remember, Nahida just speculated about the Trisqueta. It has lots of meaning. Other has pointed things such as mind, body and soul, past, present and future. Yet, I encounter one meaning that Other seems to not mention, and it is more relevant than ever to the game. The Trisqueta could mean create, preserve, destroy. Do you remember create, sustain, destroy? Gnosticism, Hermeticism and Kabbalah references are a major part in game. These topics has relation with the Hermetic Kabbalah and alchemy, hence the game is very prominent with this symbolism. I don't know if numerology is referenced, but there has been instance of references to music of the spheres, numbers important to alchemy, and many other religious references. Say No to Kraken has made a really good observation of how Dream Area may be the source sun that Aranara talk about. This post of Reddit has done a good observation and investigation, and I believe it deserves more attention. About the murals in the domains, people still speculate about this. Ashikai pointed out about the Tenebrous Papilla taking a form that resembles one part of it. The symbol at the top, it's really similar to an enneagram, a symbol that supposedly is the 9 faces of God. I tried attributing the 9 faces to the archons, but I didn't finish this labor. Maybe you could come with something. I was wondering if this has to do with how people get visions. Speaking of it, since certain conditions are met to get a specific vision element, this channel has made a really good series about the similarities in the stories the visions holders has in-game. About the Hypostasis, this Reddit post make a really good connection with the Hypostasis code name and the elements to form a sentence. People has come with good sentences related to the game. I did try to decipher it using hexadecimal and numerology, even looking at esoteric meanings for the Hebrew letters. The results is practically the same as the comments already said. I tried different orders for the elements and in reverse, like how hypostases were released chronologically and the elements corresponding to the nation the traveler arrived. The order which makes more sense is the loading screen. In my case, I have to extrapolate terms so the sentence have meaning. Be ready for a good stretch. Here we go. Behold at the universe sustained by the door on the bridge. By the way, in Gematria, the sum for these letters is 21, a sacred number. Also, Revelations 21:2-3, behold the dwelling place of God. You should try to. Maybe there is a message here, or maybe not. Of course, everyone tried using translator to see if the letters have a sentence, but nothing seems that worthy. Funnily enough, playing with the translator got me the sentence, good job, and he comes to marry. Chemical marriage, maybe? Enough stretches. This post in Reddit pointed out that the Dendro Hypostasis doesn't have the words et culmine lucis in magno elementorum. This one pointed out that if you invert the color of the Khaenri'ahs, you can see gold. You should shake it. This is another good read. It's about the orientation of the structures in the Nailless City and Enkanomiya, about celestial nails. Like many people, I believe Celestia sends them to purify the land from abyssal corruption. I believe they are aimed deliberately to ley lines, to destroy them, so they didn't corrupt the world itself, like when a zombie in a movie bites the arm of someone and someone else cut his arm to save him. And the fact that there is a celestial nail in the Night Kingdom being the substitute for the ley lines in Natlan seems like a good reasoning. Now, I'm not sure about this, but it seems to me that the celestial nail has in common the pattern they take to combat each other. In Natlan, it is pointed out how the Abyss tried to exploit the weakness of its target. Well, I think the Celestial Nail tried to eliminate the weight of propagation of the Abyss. For example, in Tsurumi Island, the ley lines disorder is fog. It seems fog makes it difficult for thunder to form. Maybe the Celestial Nail in Sumeru made a desert because the Abyss corrupted the vegetation. That said, I don't have an explanation for the chasm. And Dragonspine, well, I don't get why it's called. The most obvious thinking is to fight fire, but was a fire in that region at that time? I don't think the Favonius library was there. I don't know if the knights were even formed at that time. Maybe blizzards difficult the wind somehow. This is where the speculations falls apart. Unless this was an actual accident. Another thing about Celestial Nails is the reaction to the Abyss power. With the item we got in the Chasm quest, we know they interact in a way they can even twist metal and rocks. The Chasm and the desert have this twist in a left spin. Now, Tsurumi Watatsumi seems to have a spin to the opposite side. I wonder if Teyvat being like a disc, it's got a celestial nail in the other face of the disc that pierces the air, and in this side of the disc we see the spin in the other direction. Teyvat is inverted horizontally. Oriona, a user of Oyolab, has defended this theory for a long time, even providing proof hard to dismiss. The most convincing and recent is about the celestial body in Natlan we saw in the Archon quest, when Mawika scorches the skies, and when we see it in the war after the quest, the orientation of it doesn't match. Oriona also pointed out characters that have an eye patch wears it in the opposite eye from the Khaenri'ah characters we know so far. This theory could explain why we go up the roots of the tree in the chasm and we end up in the opposite direction of the map. The four sacred beasts, the azure dragon of the east, the vermilion bird of the south, the white tiger of the west, the black tortoise of the north. You may have heard of them, maybe in a reference on some games or anime. I think Hoyo somehow will reference this, or maybe they are already doing it, especially cause this beast appears in Chinese culture. In Liyue, you can see a dragon statue with a tortoise shell on its back. This is a classical representation of the black tortoise of the north, and with the Natlan phoenix, the tiger in the labyrinth in Sumeru. The Valin and Ashtaha seems sus. Hex and Hound. Fuck cliffhanger. Anyways, as many books, this one has mysteries. I was wondering, what if Andrews has something to do with this. I know, he's not a hound, okay? I am not implying he is the one in this story. What I mean to say is, what if this is some parallelism with his origins or something? I mean, in Hexenhound, Notfrigga wanted to transform Dietrich into a wolf and not a hound, and later she gave him his sword while being a hound, and just has a sword in his arena. Maybe I'm looking it at the wrong angle. Maybe the right angle is to look it as a Khaenri'ah reference. Dietrich means ruler of the people, and Notfrigga may be a reference to Night Mother. So what if this book is a parallelism of Khaenri'ah, where Dietrich represents Irmin about the Battle Pass? I believe the pair of Genesis to be related to the moon, not necessarily a moon sister. The moon has been described as a pair in books of Genshin. Also, the princess have a cup, and there is a theory around that says the unknown god is the shade of space. Remember the cup? Yeah. Also, it's kinda weird how she is around turns, same as the Hexenzirkel. Is she a witch? I'm not implying they are related, as there are witches in game that has nothing to do with the Hexenzirkel. Also, why the characters in this story are not golden haired as the travelers? About the Hexenzirkel, what if every member is cursed, and hence the name? I mean, Raiden's daughter pretty much would have been cursed as a sinner, right? Nicole may have too, if she was judged, that's it, like in the story Wolfie told. Anders' daughter shared lots of things with Lisa. People have speculated they are related somehow, like family or something, and we know Lisa is cursed. Lisa has stated she doesn't have to do with the Hexenzirkel, by the way. There is still a lot of mysteries. And there is a lot of good theories. One is, what if the Traveler isn't present in the game? It seems almost all events will have been the same result. Now, Inazuma is the problem. This is where the Traveler played a crucial role. What if the Traveler wasn't in Inazuma? I believe maybe Kazuha will save the day. If not, Watatsumi and Ayato were playing in the background. I will leave it here. Just one more thing. I believe the power of Dainsleif is named Eclipse. See you around.